A donation from Jeff Bezos made headlines, but there's still work to do on a planned park in downtown Little Rock. Hello, thank you for joining us tonight at 6. I am Hoyt.
And I'm Jurnee Taylor. The 30 Crossing Park will be located underneath the I-30 bridge. So it's fitting the founder of Amazon's Earth Fund donated $30 million. Okay, I thought you were going to finish there.
There we go. At THV 11's Carter Thweet, who's out there under the bridge, the proposed site of this park. And Carter, it's a little shocking when a donation from a billionaire isn't enough. How much more money is needed?
Yeah, Rolly, I'm told that in an ideal world, $100 million would be raised for this 30 Crossing Park. And that means that, like you said, Bezos' donation, it does help, but ultimately more money is going to be needed.
From here, past the bridge, all the way to the river market. According to the latest diagrams, that's the plan for 30 Crossing Park, with gardens, basketball and pickleball courts, a playground, and much more.
If done correctly, this can become a central park for Central Arkansas that becomes a showpiece for individuals, for families, for businesses considering our region.
Jack Thomas with the Little Rock Regional Chamber was among those who celebrated last month when the Bezos Earth Fund donated $30 million for the project, but there's more work to be done.
We're hopeful to be able to raise $100 million, and I think we're reasonable in the approach that we're taking a phased approach to fundraising.
That means portions of the park could get done at $55 million, then $75 million, and so on to the ultimate goal of 100.
It's going to take some time to get to that total fundraising target, but over time we can build out individual elements of the park and give people a reason to enjoy what ultimately will become something that's even better than what it is at the early phases.
Thomas says the fundraising plan is being created right now. They'll use a variety of grants and other sources to hopefully hit that 100 million mark.
What you can expect is for us to have a better understanding of the specific elements of the park through the end of this year and begin some of that fundraising towards the end of this year and certainly into the early parts of 2027.
Thomas did mention to me one separate category. He says that some of that $100 million would go into an endowment, and that money would be used to pay for the park's costs and upkeep for years to come. In Little Rock, I'm Carter Thweet, THV 11 News.
All right, Carter, thank you. Well, developing tonight, a Little Rock community activist is calling for more transparency from police after raising concerns about 2 separate encounters involving LRPD officers.
The founding president of Arkansas Stop the Violence, Reverend Benny Johnson, says both incidents raise questions about the individual officers involved and their conduct. In one, he says an officer got into a heated exchange with a man who, in his opinion, appeared to be experiencing a mental health crisis.
And another, he says an officer held a gun near a man's head while taking him into custody. And now he's calling on LRPD to fully investigate both encounters.
We need to have a fair investigation. And we're not asking for transparency. We're not begging for it, but we demanding transparency from this police department. Enough is enough.
Now, we actually received body camera video from that second encounter less than an hour ago. And right now, our team is looking over everything Little Rock Police made available to us. We're going to share those videos and what we've learned coming up tonight at 10.
We're going to shift gears to weather. I want to show you, if you can see behind me, storm clouds are exploding over southeast and southwestern Arkansas. We are starting to see more storms develop ahead of a cool front that will be pushing through the state to offer finally an end to our triple-digit streak. But before it gets here, we're still up to 104 in the capital city. But you can see where it's raining, obviously from the clouds, but also how much cooler it is. 72 in Monticello. They picked up on a fairly strong storm in that 5 o'clock hour. Storms rolling in closer to Mena, where they're down to 77. That's a 20-degree difference from their neighbors in Searcy, who are still holding on to 97 degrees. That frontal boundary just shy of that Searcy to Clinton line across some portions of north central Arkansas. And you can still see again, just south of that boundary is where those storms are firing up. Some of southeast Arkansas, Ashley and Chico County, are included in a severe thunderstorm watch that was issued for a good chunk of Mississippi and into Alabama. Alabama until 10 o'clock. Overall, though, the risk for severe weather in the state of Arkansas will be pretty much for the southern half of the state tonight. Looking out for those damaging wind gusts. Looks like we could pick up on one of those storms closer to the capital city around your 10 o'clock hour. I have more details on what to expect for the rest of the week and your weekend ahead in the 7-day outlook.
All right, Simone, thank you. AI is being used in more and more doctors' offices, with medical experts saying they're using the technology to help them take notes during an exam. For years, doctors have relied on notes written down or dictated later to recall your symptoms and what you talked about during the visit. But with new software doing a lot of the work during the visit, doctors say it's freeing them up for more normal conversations. And so far, most patients have been on board.
Has been overwhelmingly positive because it shows them that St. Bernard's cares about making their experience as best as we can.
Doctors still make the diagnosis themselves. The AI is only there to organize what you tell them about your symptoms. Patients can also choose to opt out, and their provider will turn it off during their visits.
For years, state leaders have been looking for ways to improve access to health care for mothers and their families. And today, those efforts took center stage at a statewide roundtable. THV11's Maya Ellison was there and shares what was discussed.
The Arkansas Maternal Health Roundtable is much more than a conversation. As many tell me, it's a collaboration on ways to fix a broader issue.
And we are now down to 30 hospitals that have a labor and delivery department.
That's a harsh reality for a state that health leaders say continues to struggle with maternal health, and one that can make access to care even more difficult, especially in rural communities. Arkansas Hospital Association Executive Vice President Jody Ann Tritt says it's why the people making policy need to hear from the people providing care.
I think having those conversations with the right people in the room, with physicians, with advocates, with federally qualified health centers, of course with hospitals, on the front lines of how we take care of moms when they get to deliver their babies.
Lawmakers, healthcare leaders, and mothers heard from state officials, including Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders and DHS Secretary Janet Mann, about issues they're seeing.
Pregnant women are seeking care in multiple locations during their pregnancies, not always the same location or same entity.
Those, like Anna Strong, say that's not the only concern.
It is alarming to look at our infant mortality rates and the percent of moms in our state who are giving birth who may not have optimal health outcomes.
Strong tells me finding a solution lies in advocacy work along with providing support to moms all over the state. But that leaves the question.
How do we bridge the gap? What does that look like here in Arkansas?
I think the gap is really that postpartum care that we really need to wrap around in new and innovative ways. We have got to have more touch points, and we've got to have access to an insurance such that they can get the care that they need.
In Little Rock, Maya Ellison, THV11 News.
Well, Secretary Mann says the conversation continued today at the state capitol, where lawmakers reviewed Rule 311. It's a proposal to implement new maternal health requirements, including Medicaid-related coverage for services such as lactation support and doula services.
Well, most students, if not all, have returned to the classroom around here, which means us parents now have already spent plenty of time making sure our kids have everything they need to succeed.
And sometimes all that running around can get a little stressful. So to help out, we've got a checklist to make sure you start the school year off on the right foot, okay? First off, health experts say you should get health screenings and make sure your children vaccinations are up to date.
And not only do most schools require proof of immunization, they require regular checkups to make sure they're on target to meet major growth milestones. Next thing you want to do is make sure you're creating and promoting healthy sleep patterns. Having a routine makes it easier to fall asleep at night and wake up in the morning ready to go.
A disrupted sleep schedule, even if only for a few days, can make it difficult to get back into the normal routine. Next, let's focus on nutrition and physical activity. If you pack your children's lunch, try to fill it with a healthier, balanced meal.
And if you don't, encourage them to choose healthier options in the cafeteria. If you don't pack their lunch, I think they can. Meanwhile, whether it's going to be a challenging class or dealing with a bully, managing what's on their plates emotionally is also important.
Children often face stress as they head back to school, and talking through it can help. Having a creative outlet like sports or band can also help as well. Of course, schools are also focusing on getting the school year started off on the right foot. We told you last night about an Arkansas school limiting screen time, and it turns out it's actually happening across the country. According to a survey from Ed Week Research Center, 33% of students spend 3 to 4 hours a day using technologies such as laptops or tablets. Another 28% use it 1 to 2 hours a day. But even though students use tech more now than ever, the percentage of students who are digitally literate is actually dropping.
Why? Because tech is a tool, and the tool is not the skill. Do the skill first. Bring the tech in when you no longer need it. If you know how to do math, now you can safely use a calculator. If you know how to format an essay, now you can bring in a word processor. So develop the skill first and then move to the tech when you're just ready to make that skill easier.
Cooney Horvath argues learning should involve friction. If you're not being challenged, you're probably not learning, and tech removes a lot of that friction from learning. Well, still to come here at 6, the latest on the data center debate, how people in one Arkansas city are now pushing back.
And overnight, we got to watch out for those showers and thunderstorms across the state. But tomorrow, more limited coverage, looking to see more sunshine. We could stay in those upper 90s, might get close to 100 degrees, but things get even cooler through the weekend. Full details are coming up in that 7-day outlook.